to get there. It's like you put in the effort and then zoom, you look back again, the same thing happens in your life. That's a sign that you could probably be coming up against, limitations. Have you found that you are frustrated by your current reality because it doesn't match your expectations? You've got this potential and capacity within you, and it tells you that you can do more, you can be more, you can have more. But for some reason, it's just not happening. I know that very well because it's happened in my life. The reality doesn't match your expectations. What you know is possible for you and what is actually happening in your immediate conditions and circumstances, those things don't match. Then I can tell you, my friend, tune in, because I want to share with you how to actually bust those limits. You know that there's more, but you kind of struggle to achieve that. That is a sign that you are up against limits. Tune in for the next 10 minutes or so. I'm going to share with you exactly how to design a life without limits. Now, what are limits? Bring this up. Let's look at this. Limits refer to factors that restrict and hold you back. Look at that picture of the speed limit. The speed limit tells you that you cannot go above 25 kilometers per hour. And so that notice right there acts as the limiting factor. Though you have capacity, though you have potential, your engine can do more, you're not able to go beyond that. And so there's a boundary that confines you. Think about that. In your life, how does it feel to be confined, to be held back, to be restricted? I don't think that's fun in any way. And so how do you design a life in a way that you go beyond the boundaries, you go beyond the confines, you go beyond the limits? Again, look at this. The second one, limits are things that determine a point or level beyond which something does not or may not exceed or pass. Think about that. And then the third one, I like this, and I want to be quick here. Limits indicate the presence of an aspect of permission in your life. There is an authority that has created a limiting factor. And I want us to explore what some of those things could be, especially when you're looking to navigate those invisible boundaries and break through whatever the limitations are. Now, if you see that there are limitations in your life, here's what I want you to notice. Limitations, however accustomed you are to them, however you've become used to them, however you've kind of resigned to fate, here's what I want to tell you. You were created unlimited. And that is not just motivation or rah. Actually, what it is that if you think about where you came from, you came from God. That's what I believe. And God creates perfectly, always, and in all ways. And so if there is any limitation that you're up against, you didn't come with it. It was not within you when you arrived here. You found it here. You created it here. And so we're going to start by going back to our original state, which is that resourced state, that fully resourced state within us. Because that is the starting point of really knowing, how do I design a life without limits? First is to become aware of, guess what? I came unlimited. My creation did not have flaws. I came unlimited. I'm whole. I'm not broken. I don't need to be fixed. And that takes faith to believe. Because mostly when you look at your current conditions and circumstances, what do they tell you? They spell to you that you're unable. They spell to you that you've been defeated. They spell to you limitations. So how do you come out of that? It may not be easy, but let me tell you, because that's the truth, that you've got to believe in your fully resourced state, that you are capable, that you are whole, that you're not broken, you don't need to be fixed, nothing is missing within you. And that ushers you to a journey where you begin to navigate within you and find that fully resourced state that is able to step into circumstances and shift them. Second thing I want you to notice here is this. if you are experiencing any factor of a limitation, any way that you've been held back, that you've been confined, I want you to spend time and interrogate what exactly could be holding you back. Because God is the same yesterday, today, and forever. The same God that is at work within me is the same God that is at work within you. And if I'm able to create more results, as a vessel and an instrument of God, why not you? And I don't say this to impress you, but really to impress upon you this idea that if God is the same, then why do we have different results? Why do we have different results? It all has to point to not our capacity, but the limitations that we've placed upon our capacity. Now, granted, we're different, we're unique. Some of us are 5-talent people. Remember the parable that Jesus shared? He went, gave about a parable that, he gave talents to 5 talents to 1, 2 talents to 1, 1 talent to 1. So all of us are different. And so if you're on your lane, the idea is to be maximizing your capacity to create whatever you know is possible for you and through you. That's the key idea. Be in your lane and maximize what you can. The same way, when the electricity is coming from the power generation company, and it comes into your house through a cable from the pole that's next to your house, when it comes into that property, it is the maximum capacity of power, 240 volts. And when it comes into your house, it finds different bulbs. And those different bulbs emit different qualities and quantities of light. But it's the same 240 volts. And so I see God as being the same yesterday, today, and forever. And when he comes within me, when he's at work within me, I'm in the marketplace, utilizing my gifts, utilizing my capacity, doing the work that I sense I need to do, coaching, speaking, and training, and doing what I'm doing. I am emitting light from the same source, but it's coming through me to you, through me to the marketplace. And if I'm a 40 watt bulb, and that's what he created me to do, I'm going to do everything to be a 40 watt bulb. If he created me to be a 100 watt bulb, I'm going to emit all the light. And so one of the big things to do, as we're talking about 3 steps here, is number 1, articulate the possibilities that you know could be possible for your life. You see, the idea about what is possible for you, the idea of your potential knocking on your door and saying, hey, Benjamin, I know you can do this. That idea, that awareness of a possibility is your potential speaking to you. And you need to tune into that. And you need to really grab that idea and say, wait a minute, here's the idea that's coming to me. And the question that I have is, when you look at these 5 domains of your life, this is spaces where we live life in. Our faith, connection with God, our fitness, our body temple, our family, relationships, your fulfilling work, and finances. Do you have a blueprint for these areas of your life? How you're going to move from here to there? Because where you are here today is what you've been able to do up until now. Where you're going tomorrow there is what you're going to be able to do because of the capacity that God has put within you and is expanding within you. And so the first thing is to become aware of, wait a minute, am I a 5, 2, or 1 talent person? And how do I then allow all that is possible to come out of me and bring an impact, also creating an income for me in the marketplace? Whatever it is that you're doing. And so the first awareness is, wait, I'm created unlimited. That's number 1. Number 2, there is the capacity that is within me, and I need to become aware of the possibilities that are, manifesting in my life, the possibilities that are kind of knocking on my door. As you are on that journey, now moving from here to there, you've designed a blueprint. And if you don't have a blueprint, head out to catalyst.ke and hold your spot for mentorship with me. Catalyst.ke. Begin a mentorship journey with me. I'm going to give you a way to develop a blueprint in each of these 5 domain areas of your life. Develop a blueprint for each of these 5 domain areas of your life. And then once you have that blueprint, guess what? Now you're moving from here to there. You're on a journey. Financial goals, family goals, faith goals, fitness goals. You're on a journey. You're moving from here to there. What do you realize in that moment? Boom. You come against limitations. And I want you to really tune into what is the thing that's limiting me from emitting all my light. What's holding me back from emitting all the capacity that I know is possible within me? What is holding me back? And name those limits. They could be mindset limits, the way that you think. I had this story of a young boy who was at the lake fishing. And there was an old chap also next to the young boy fishing. And so they would throw this, hook into the lake. And whenever a fish came up, the boy would pull the fish. He would look at the fish and the fish was huge. And the old man would say, "Wow, great job, young man. You caught a big fish today." And as soon as the young boy had looked at it and it was too big, he would throw it back into the water. And the old man was like, "What are you doing? You don't catch like that every single day. Why did you throw it back into the water?" And he said, "My pan is only 9 centimeters long. I'm looking for a fish that size." If you have limitations in your mindset, in your self-image, in your confidence, in your resource state, in your unlimited creative nature, that is going to become one of the things that you must navigate. And so identify the limitation. Is it a mindset limit? Is it a skill set limit, something that I need to learn? Or is it a character limit? You show up for meetings late. You give promises but you don't follow through. Is it a character limit? Is it a skill set limit? Or is it a mindset limit? Name your limitation. Because the moment you're moving from here to there, you're going to come across limitations. Mindset limitations could speak to beliefs. No one in my family has ever done this. No one has ever lived into this. I know many times whenever I have made big moves in my life, moved and changed addresses, invested money, in myself, in other spaces, bought things. A big part of me was like, who are you? We don't do that. We don't know you. And it took me time to get used to those things. But I'm conscious and I'm aware of the creative process within me and as an individual. And I know how to tap into my power. I know how to tune into my giftedness. And I know how to identify those limiting beliefs. Those thoughts that are coming to whisper to me and tell me, "You're not worthy of this. You don't deserve this. You're not good enough. You got this by fluke. You just got this by lack of chance. But this is not really who you are." I know their voice. And I'm encouraging you, if this is not something that you've mastered, join me in the mentorship program, catalyst.ke. We're going to have a mindset conversation and a skill set conversation and a character conversation. And how do you move from here to there? How do you move from here to there? Your spirit is seeking fuller expression and expansion of your capacity. What happens to hair? Although I don't have much. It just grows. What happens to grass? It just grows. What happens to your legs? They just grow. Are you going to cut the shoe are you going to cut your feet so that they fit the shoe because you don't want to buy a new shoe? No. You buy a new shoe and your legs continue to grow. My jackets, at some point, I'm not going to fit into this because my spirit is expressing itself within me in all ways. In all ways. always seeking to expand the potential that is within me. And so understand that. Again, number one, we said articulate the possibilities. Number two, name the limiting factors. Have a plan for exactly how you're going to uncover these limiting beliefs. Look at this quote by Carl Jung. Carl Jung and saying, until you make the unconscious conscious, until you make the limiting factors that are holding you back, until you make them conscious, they will rule your life. And you will call them fate. You will call them fate. My life was just like this. This is who I am. This is the way it was designed to be. I think this is what God planned for me. This is fate. This is no way. I refuse to make agreement with that. That is not true of you, and it's not true of me. This thing we call fate. Fate? Were you born to come in and live into fate? I definitely know God has a wonderful plan for your life, to give you plans, to give you great future. And so if there's something that's happening in your life that doesn't align with what you know and what you sense is possible for you, don't bring God into that mix. Don't allow your awareness to bring him down to your level and say this is what he planned for you. Rather, tune into and begin to become acquainted with that fully resourced state that you came into this world with. It's there. Navigate and find your way to get it. So until you make the unconscious conscious, what's limiting me? What's holding me back? Why am I not able to move here? Why do I keep going round in cycles? Make the unconscious conscious and then show up differently. And you will create different results. As I close, here's what I want to share with you. We are talking about how to design a life without limits. If you're just starting and joining us, we're going to step number 3 now. What do you exactly do to design a life without limits? I'm going to bring it up. My mentor taught me this idea. It's called the 5-minute miracle. And he said, Benjamin, if you're looking for an outcome, this was at a point where I wanted to double my income. I wanted to double my income. It was my goal for that year. I'd never done it before. I wanted to double my income. And I didn't know how to do it. I didn't know how to go about it. And he shared this wonderful idea with me. It's called the 5-minute miracle. And he said, if you could spend 5 minutes every day with a blank piece of paper, okay, a blank piece of paper. I'm going to bring, I like this. With a blank piece of paper, okay, and you would simply ask one question. How can I double my income? And he told me do this. And he said, just sit down and 5 minutes, set a timer, 5 minutes, boom. And just sit down. Any idea that comes to you, you write it down. You write it down. Just stay there and be quiet and listen. You see, the mental faculty of intuition is intuition from within. There's a part of you that knows the answers. And if you can be quiet and be still, the way that if waters are rough and you try and look at yourself through the water, you won't see your image clearly. But if you allow the water to be still, a puddle of water, and you just come and stand on top of it, you will see your face as clearly as a mirror. And so in the same way he told me, take 5 minutes every day, Benjamin, and just write down all the ideas that come to you in that 5 minutes. And that requires that you need to have an idea journal. Because Spirit is talking to you the whole day, all times. It's telling you, hey, here's what you need to do. Hey, here's what you need to do. And if you're not tuning into those things, you're dismissing them because they're not coming from you. They're not going to fit with your current conditions and circumstances. No. They're coming through you from Spirit. They're coming from God, who wants you to express your capacity and potential. And so tune in and write down. And he shared with me and he said, Benjamin, write down every idea, write down. And then look at this at the end of the day and say, what's one idea What is one idea that I can take action on immediately that will move me in the direction of my dreams? What's one simple step? One simple step. But it takes discipline to show up every day for 5 minutes. Story is that I've doubled my income then, and then I doubled that income, and then I doubled that income, and then I doubled that income. And every time I'm getting ready to double my income, I always use this process. Every time I'm building something in my life, I always sit down and say, how do I do it? Spirit, show me how. 5 minutes. I've got pages upon pages upon pages in my notebook where I write my daily reflections, my journal of ideas. Have I implemented all of them? No. But have I been gifted with a few that I implemented that made a big difference in my life? Oh yes. And so step number 1, as I wrap up. Step number 1, you are created unlimited. And so if there's a limitation in your life, it's not your portion. It's not designed for you, for you to live a life of limitation. Believe that. You're fully resourced. Number 2, start by articulating the possibilities that are in your life. Start by articulating the possibilities that are in your life. What do you sense is coming through you? What do you sense is going to be unfolding in your future in the 5 domains of your life? Your faith, your fitness, family, fulfilling work, finances. What's unfolding? Write it down. What's the path from here to there? Let's take the journey. Start moving. When you start moving, you'll come against anything that's a limiting belief, limiting factor. Name it. Dan Siegel talked about this idea of name it to tame it. Name it to tame it. Everything has a name. Everything has an identity. Identify what it is, name it, and begin to understand and master how to tame it. And then number 3, spend 5 minutes every single day. Every single day. Simple idea, but you'll be surprised how many people don't do it. I've struggled to also have a discipline for doing it, but I'm in the place where I do it. And now I want you to sit down and say, what can I do that will lead me into whatever the outcome is, to navigate that obstacle, to navigate that, whatever that may be. That's how to design a life without limits. And the secret is in this 5-minute miracle, even as you do the other 2. Thank you so much for joining me today. Kamoye Benjamin again. Peak Performance Secrets. Thank you for joining me. Blessings. Be well. And bye for now.